Hi, I'm Clark Wendlandt. I just fished the FLW Tour event at Lake Norman, finished 37th, and I'm going to tell you just a little bit about what was going on this week. The tournament's being dominated by the Carolina guys. They're guys that are really good casters. They love fishing docks. You know, most of the best fish on this lake are around docks. There's some fish out, there's some fish on the bank, but most of them are around docks. And what they're doing is skipping, making really good presentations, getting in to the dock. The hardest place to get in the dock, they're fishing brush under the docks. And it's just impossible to compete with. Now for me, I like fishing docks that way, but I like swimming a bait underneath the dock. So when you're swimming a bait underneath the dock, you can actually see what you're looking, you know, I can see a shade, I can see just the right float situation where a bass will actually suspend. But this time of year, the fish usually aren't suspended up underneath the docks. They're more down on the bottom and they're around brush. And so I couldn't compete that way. The Carolina guys actually know lots and lots and lots of brush places with a little brush pile under the dock, places with a little brush pile out in front of a dock, but they know where those are, I don't. So I just had to kind of go fishing to be able to compete this week. The key baits for me this week, I was throwing a Lure Jensen speed trap. This is kind of what I was starting with early in the morning. It's a little small crankbait, it's hard to cast, but it stays up in the water column. For me, if I threw a bait that got too deep, if it got down too deep in the water column, I'd catch a lot of trash on the hooks of the bait, and I would never catch any fish. So I needed something that stay up pretty high. This stays up pretty high. It's kind of a finesse crankbait. It's got a real tight wobble, and really I caught my best fish on this bait. The other way I fished was throwing a spinner bait, and I kind of intermittently threw a spinner bait. This is just a little small spinner bait, 3/8 ounce, something that you reel pretty fast. I mainly caught spotted bass on this, and I was kind of targeting stumps on shallow clay points, nothing real specific, just, you know, I would just kind of throw it as I went between docks. But really what bailed me out the most this week, you know, I didn't have a great practice was just so-so. What really bailed me out this week was a jig head worm. And this is a 3/16, it's a Gambler jig head worm. It's a giggy head with a 6-inch straight tail worm. And basically all you do with this thing is just throw it out there. I fish it on 10-pound 100% trilene fluorocarbon. You put it near a dock, under a dock, around a dock, and just fish it really slow. And it's a bait that I'm not used to throwing very much, but it's kind of a bailout technique for me. And for me, the only way I couldn't figure out how to catch that many fish here. That bait was the only way I could catch a whole lot of fish. I'd catch bigger ones on the moving baits, but I couldn't catch enough fish. And this lake is such, the dominant forage is blueback herring. This lake's just such that you got to catch a lot of fish. And so for me, the jig head worm kind of bailed me out. 37th place finish, I'm happy with it. And you know, going to Loudon next tournament, looking forward to that.